Hey Chevra, a few months ago I went again with Netanel Eiseman deep into the Shomron. We went to Har Bracha, we went to Shilo, and we went to a few interesting places in between. Har Bracha, you are really going to enjoy this video. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you very much, Chevra. Enjoy. Alright, Rabbi Sai, we are back together with Netanel Eiseman for the fourth time of the Netanel Has No Days Off show. Netanel, what are we doing today?
So we're heading out to the Shomron, better known as Har Ephraim, and we just got to check our tik, the two things.
What are we checking for?
We got some water, but more importantly, we got the Tanach.
There we go.
If you have the Tanach, you're ready to go.
You're protected.
That's right. And that's just the Ruchnius, the Gashmius part, and make sure.
Of course.
And off to the Shomron we go.
Let's do it.
That's a site of Aryeh Shomron. We're going to see thousands and thousands of olive trees. What's behind it is the Tanach. Really, there's no leader. There are more influential people like Alicia Revitt and others, but there's no leader. And right now, the success of the movement is because there's no leader.
Wow.
And some things, the regular is leadership. All of a sudden, 1 second, let's see, let's make decisions, let's talk to the government, let's talk to the army, let's strategize. Kol od that there's no leader, and it's just young kids opening the Tanach and are inflamed. Fire burns for the love of and the protection of Eretz Yisrael, for the gift that Hashem gave us. They're just capturing more and more hilltops. Emek Shechem Valley, one of the most beautiful valleys of the Shomron, Emek Shechem. This is right there below us, that road is the entryway, is the Tanach of Emek Shechem. All that beautiful valley, lowlands that you see over there, and we're going to see in a few minutes, continuing. It's all Emek Shechem, the Shechem Valley. When Yosef was looking for his brothers, where does he start? Yaakov Avinu sends Yosef from Hebron, and he walks on the mountains of Hebron, passes Yerushalayim, passes Shilo, and when he gets right there, when he gets to the Emek Esakai, and all of a sudden the Malach says, Yosef, he's not here. You have to go further to Doisan. Where does he meet the Malach? Right there at the Petach of the Emek, at the beginning of the valley. So that's a very important valley. Now, across the mountain, everyone see across the mountain, the hilltops? That's Yitzhar. Up, over there is Yitzhar. Okay? In between us and Yitzhar is Hawara. This Arab village. And if we don't live here, the Arabs will spread all the way to the road, all the way to Tapuach. They're stopping the spread up that way, and this sometimes is stopping the spread this way. We are in an interesting little hilltop, a Christian, evangelical, biblical, Zionist Christians who came over here from America. They were driven by the pasuk in Jeremiah, the pasuk in Yirmiyah that says, Shomron. They got inspired, and they came here and they moved to the Samaria, they moved to the Shomron, and they live here. They live here in the Shomron Hills.
Gonna be a new visitor center. Yeah, gonna have a coffee shop and whatever. Because when we first came, there was no tourism in the Shomron, and even last people were my dad came the first time in a military escort, because they're you have to go through wherever all the different Arab villages. But now we have here during the summer 3 or 4 groups a week, buses that are wanting to hey, we saw something about.
Wow.
So, which is a really awesome thing to be able to connect people. And so, mostly Christian groups that are what's going on here? Because most Christians come to Israel just to see a historical. They want to go, and they go to all the Arab sites. They don't connect to the modern struggle and why this is still so significant. Our family came, there's 11 children in our family, the Waller family. my parents, we grew up in Tennessee, Christians. We had an Israeli flag in our house. We were always very pro-Israel. My dad got the chance to come over in the early 2000s, and it was when they planted the first vineyards here in Har Bracha. And there was a bunch of young families here in the community of Har Bracha just founded it not too long before that. And so my dad fell in love, was like, whoa, the Bible is happening now here in Israel. We're farmers in Tennessee. We did organic farming. The whole farming community had never met a Jewish person. I mean, like, you're like farmers in Tennessee, but you read the Bible and then seeing, like, most prophesied thing about the Bible is Jewish people will come back home, the land will be restored, and will come back to life, and this whole redemptive story. Except for us, it was like, whoa, this is happening, and for the most part, Christians have not been part of it at all. If anything, have been opposing what God's doing. And so my dad and my family and everybody we knew, it was like, we've got to be a part of this. And so we started just coming as a family for as much as we could. You know, we'd come for 3 months, we'd go back, and so we started working. We planted a lot of the vineyards here, and then all throughout, we started a lot of different farmers. And then before we knew it, there was like a lot of other friends and family wanted to come, and so they turned into an organization. On the other side down there is the studio. Wow, studio.
Is there any way to go look at it?
Yeah, well, I can take you guys down.
Also, let's do it. All right, so where are we going now?
So this is the office building. We actually have a big group of guys here. They're recording some of the different stuff. Obviously, it's a wreck right now.
Wow.
That's their mezuzah.
What do we have here in the tunnel?
We got the famous Har Bracha Tchina factory. There's nothing more enjoyable than to take a break from Tanach and the tour guide blabbing about history to go see some Tchina. בדיוק, פרשת מקץ.
7 ברות יפות מראה.
Wow.
Rabbi say, me and Natana were making a l'chaim on fresh,
Arak.
hot tchina.
That's right.
Delicious, bro.
These seeds came all the way from Ethiopia to the Shomron, crushed here in Har Bracha. Now fast.
Chaim, chaim. Fresh. Chaim. Oh, man.
Right now surrounded by about 250,000 Palestinians. I'm not saying, yeah, maybe a few thousand Jews. A few thousand in Yitzhar, a few hundred in Har Bracha. Today, there's buildings here. There's Palestinian people living here, but just pretend for a minute they're not here. And it's just one big, beautiful, beautiful valley, surrounded by two mountains, Har Gerizim and Aryeh Leib. Let's come over here, and everyone can see everything. Very special cola. This is Har Gerizim. We are standing exactly where our Babas and Zaydas stood on Har Gerizim. Half Klal Yisrael stood on Har Gerizim, half of Klal Yisrael stood on Aryeh Leib. This is Aryeh Leib, okay? Aryeh Leib, Har Gerizim. Shechem, in between. Who sees Shechem? Everyone sees Shechem. Right there. You can see the walls. You see where the stones are? That is the old city of Shechem. That is the ancient city of Shechem. You see the walls on the western side. You see in the city a square. They did some archaeology over there. There's even what they think may have been the Shar Ha'ir. All that under there and a little bit exposed, but probably still a lot not dug properly. On the right, you see trees. Everyone sees the olive trees on the right. Under those olive trees is more of the city. That is Tel Shechem. That's the ancient city of Shechem. So pretend that a city, and all of this empty. No one would build here. Chaval to build here because this is where we have to grow wheat and grow barley and grow seeds. Let's read the psukim. Yava Avram ba'aretz ad makoim Shechem ad elon moreh va'knani oz ba'aretz. This is the very first city that Avram Avinu comes to. And when he gets here, guess what he does? Vayiven sham mizbeach laHashem hanira elov. Avram Avinu builds a mizbeach. The very first mizbeach built by Avram Avinu, right there where those trees are, where those old walls are. Avram Avinu leaves Shechem. And then guess who comes? Yaakov Avinu. Do you remember when Yaakov Avinu fought with the Malach of Esav?
Yeah.
Yaakov wins. He's limping, but he won. He then takes his family. Vayovli Yaakov Shalom Ir Shechem. Yaakov comes to Shechem. Vayichanas Pnei Ha'ir. And the Shvatim dwell in Shechem. And then Dinah is kidnapped. And Shimon and Levi take swords. And they beat up and kill the city of Shechem. And they take their sister. And they leave Shechem. They go back to Hebron. There's Atzmois Yosef. All of Bnei Yisrael may Eretz Mitzrayim, vayikvaroi soy b'Shechem. B'zchut Yosef Hatzadik, Ephraim u'Menashe. B'zchut Yosef Hatzadik, Ephraim u'Menashe. B'zchut Yosef Hatzadik. We have so much to speak about. Shilo was the place of the Mishkan for 369 years. That means this was the Ir HaKodesh for 369 years. On the best of our knowledge, the best of our ability, this is what was the Makan Mishkan. It wasn't exactly here, maybe a few feet to the right, a few feet to the left, any idea, but for the best of our ability, this is what Makan Mishkan was. The Mabit says, right, so basically keep that a place where they did korbanos, a place of korbanos, even though there's no more korbanos there, and there's no more bamos there. Now it's Isra bamos. We're only allowed to bring a korban in the base of Mikdash. That place in the Makom is Sugel for Tefillah. Shalom Torim Sipasenu. Tefillah b'Makom korbanos. The 369 years, Am Yisrael brought korbanos up. There's no greater Makom Tefillah than this. The second to this is Har Bracha. That's it. Har Bracha. Most people are not zoche to go on to Har Bracha today. The second one is Shilo. In Shilo we can be here because it's only menucha. The pasuk says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will rest His Shechina el hanachla, el menucha vel hanachla, for the resting place and the inheritance. El menucha vel hanachla. Menucha zu Shiloi, nachla zu Beis Hamikdash. Batel menucha, just like a resting place. You take a rest somewhere, you get up, you're gone. It's not your bed, it's just resting. So too, this wasn't HaKadosh Baruch Hu's home, it was his resting place, it was a menucha. And therefore we're allowed to stand over here. But in terms of Kedusha, it's second to the Kedusha of the Har Bracha, very, very holy site over here. And this is where Hannah davens. This is where Eli HaKohen blessed her for a child. This is where Shmuel grew up, Vayigdal Shmuel. Shmuel grew up in Shilo until it was destroyed. So it's Admas Kodesh, the holy site.